So I'm about to talk with Josh and Umar. The Digression Sessions are a podcast that they do. They're both out of Baltimore. They're both funny comics. I literally just did 2 shows with Josh, one live and then one virtual. So, yeah, it should be a fun time. This is a cross thing. We're doing some cross shit here. We crossing over, right? Whatever.
All right. It's I think we're in there. It's the Digression Sessions, and then it's a Read the Room, right, Tim?
It is. Of which you were part of last night, actually.
Yes, yeah. We did the Zoom crowd work show, which was fun. I got an asshole that was trying to be funny, and that was great.
Yeah.
What you want with crowd work.
Dude, that's the literal worst.
Yeah, I was like, what's the weirdest thing you've did at work or the weirdest thing you've done like since working from home?
He's like,
then
your
this guy,
mom.
Yeah.
He was kind of like that. Yeah, he was kind of like that.
Oh, really? Jesus.
So the guy came on, and of course you have to volunteer to want to be on there, right?
Yeah.
So he comes on, and he's at like a weird angle too. He's just like this, like on his couch, and and I was like, so what's the weirdest thing you've done, Dan? And he was like, well, hold on, I just want to say, I thought that last person was going to say came on her face. I was like, okay, good.
The way he tied that together to create the come in the face joke, like, it was a little bit like, I think he just came in to say that. That's literally all he thought was, oh, I got this joke, let me come in and say that. And then I think he went on to ask him
$300,000 for it.
Yeah. He goes viral.
Yeah, we booked him for next week, actually. So we're very fortunate to have him.
God, what a smart move for that streaker.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Wait a minute, what are you talking about?
So there was a streaker during the Super Bowl.
Umar, you took a bit of a leap there, but
Wait, what?
We were talking about that guy being like, yeah, he jumped in and said this. You're like, that streaker made a lot of money, huh?
Oh, I'm sorry, because all right, never mind.
But wait, did he?
If you guys don't know the story, then that line doesn't make sense.
Yes.
What happened?
Okay, so there was a streaker during the Super Bowl, and he got arrested, blah, 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 but he made like $370,000 because he placed a, what's that bet, those kind of bets called? Where it's,
prop bet.
He placed a prop bet at a bar, and he put $50,000 into it, saying there would be a streaker, and so he was like, I'm just gonna streak.
Oh.
So his buddy and him both, his buddy went first to create a diversion, and then he went. So then he's just gonna pay his buddy off.
The buddy
and he made $300,000. So I was saying this guy in the Zoom, he plays a prop bet. It's like someone's gonna say, "Come on your face" during this comedy show.
Yeah,
because that's how stupid of a sentence that is to say as an audience member.
What was worse too is the whole prompt was like, "What's something weird you've done while working at home?" And I asked him, and he was like, "I don't know. I'm not prepared." I was like, "Why are you on the screen?"
I thought it was funny because he came in when you were telling your story about getting dressed at work and somebody catching you. And he came in like, oh, that's happened to me too. And I was like, I didn't want to make it a racial thing, but I was like, do white people just love being naked in their office? Like, why is there so many white dudes coming in? Because he came in, that's when he came in right after that.
Right.
And then he mentioned I think it was, so there was a baby at the show. Somebody was there, they had their kid, and the husband said something about, my wife lets me do something. And then the guy, and that's how he made the correlation between whatever the thing was and come on her face.
Right.
Like, that's a funny way to say coming in your wife's face. And and then after that, he didn't leave. He stayed there.
I know. Everybody else got like 4 people to interact with. Then I had a family that had a baby, and then this come on the face guy, and I'm like, help me out here.
And that guy, yeah.
And that guy and the woman was like, here's our son, Juniper. He wants to sing Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star.
And you're just like, and speaking of cum.
Yeah. Wow. Here's cum. Huh?
Yeah.
You used to be cum, huh? Child?
Yeah.
Right?
That was these virtual shows have been tough with that just trying to keep everything moving.
Your format is real tough for virtual.
Yeah. I mean,
it's tough.
So Josh, I don't know if you noticed this, but maybe I was looking at the numbers because it's kind of not my
Your show.
Yeah, my show, yeah. So we had 190 at the show, and I kept looking at the numbers, and they were slowly going down. And I was like, "Oh shit, I got to do something." Or
I think Chris said we sold 190, but when the show started, I looked. It was at 156.
It was at 156. So, yeah, it wasn't.
Yeah.
But I was like, are people just buying tickets and then not showing up? Like, I didn't understand that. They paid us like it was 190 though.
I think it's also $5, so they're like, we'll watch a movie instead, or whatever they were doing, or maybe they forgot or something.
That's something that like I learned with running a show and tickets. That used to happen at Gin and Jokes a lot. Like we would sell out in 2 days, and like 20 people would not show up. And there was this pattern of where if we started selling, like the earlier the show sold out, the less people show up. So if like and then my buddy who his whole thing is like he runs a venue, and he's like, yeah, man, it's like your ticket is not a commitment to people. It's $5. You buy it. You're like people like who go to your show. They just want to do cool things. So like in the moment, they're like, yeah, this is fun. But then if something better comes along, they're like, fuck it. I'll just, it's $5. Who gives a shit?
Especially if it's like a month out. They're like, yeah, whatever.
So
I'll do it.
If a show like sold out like the night before the show, then we would be fine. And then we started posting tickets later. But then you just get, it's like this nerve-wracking thing. The later you post tickets, is that enough time to get it out there? But who cares?
Do you think, I think people may have just forgotten, probably, if that's the metric that you were going off of. I mean,
yeah, that's also true. But $5, people are like, here's the thing. It's a Thursday night at 9 o'clock. Dude,
yeah.
I remember when Josh's band, they were playing a show at a local venue. It's literally in the same neighborhood where my venue is. And it was like, it's like a Wednesday night, and they didn't go on until like 9. Yeah. And Karen and I were on the couch. It was 8:30, and she was like, hey, we gotta go to that show. We should start getting ready. And I'm like, I am so comfortable right now, and it's 8:30 on a Wednesday. I can't. The people who come to comedy shows during the week, like, God bless them.
Especially in the winter. In the winter, when you're at home, you're like, once those sweatpants are on, it's tough to get them off.
Yeah. A dangerous neighborhood where, like where guys were performing and where my venue is, it's like safe-ish, but it's a neighborhood where if you know it, you're uncomfortable walking to your car at night. I'm always uncomfortable in that neighborhood walking to my car. Like every time I make it to my car, I'm like, thank God.
And then there's somebody in your car, like I see.
And that person's like, thank God.
Yeah, you made it. Now I can kill you.
Now I can kill and rob you.
Yeah.
I'm glad I went out this Wednesday night. I wasn't going to murder tonight, and I decided to go out. Thank God.
Oh, dude.
God.
God bless you for making it to your car.
Yeah.
God bless you.
Dude, oh, man. Speaking of, like, murder in this town, Baltimore.
Wait, we have murder? We have murders here?
Oh, yeah.
Since when?
We got oh, yeah. I don't know. The Wire.
Oh, yeah.
But every time, like, I follow Larry Hogan. I started following him during the pandemic for updates, the governor. And every time he posts something about like crime in Baltimore or like a shooting that happened, like this past month, 2 MTA bus drivers were murdered. You know, like one was driving a disability bus, like an adult disability bus, and just got murdered. Fucking insane.
By who? Somebody on the
They
bus?
don't know.
Or?
They haven't been caught.
Jesus. Anytime you hear about somebody that's virtuous being killed or something happening to them, you go, there's no hope for me, dog, because I'm a piece of shit. All I do is leech off of everybody. I mean, I don't do anything particularly good for other people.
Right.
There's no hope for me.
Dude,
Yeah.
I had that thought recently because I just filed my taxes, and that's a part of TurboTax. They're like, "What charity did you do?" I'm like, "Come on, what are we doing?
Yeah.
What are we at?" Yeah,
I
I'm
know.
like, "I'm pretty sure I gave $25 to some legal fund over the summer. Do I get it?"
Yeah.
And then also I'm like, "Shit, I need to donate more and get a tax break." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just dropped off 12 boxes of like shoes and clothes. Like that's always been my thing to give all of my old clothes back. Trust me, it's really my justification for shopping more. But I remember when I would do this, I've always done this since I started making a good amount of money or whatever. I would always just have extra clothes. And then I started donating, and I would always wait for that little, do you want a receipt? I was like, yeah, I'll wait for my receipt. I'll wait.
Yeah, I'll take that yellow piece of paper, please.
Hand me my, and then you file it, and then they go, you need to donate 3,000 cargo shorts to get any money back from the government.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
That's so funny, dude. Also, because every time you ask for a receipt in their head, they're like, this motherfucker.
Yeah.
You know? Like no one wants to write those receipts.
no. You're like, yeah, good luck with your $10 tax break.
Yeah.
That's fun. Good for you.
I remember I worked at a snack bar, and it was like a local pool, and I was this woman, like the most expensive thing at that snack bar was probably like $4. I had a woman ask me for a receipt, and I was like, ma'am, like I don't know how would I even, like, do you want me to write it on a piece of paper? This is like an insane thing. And it like became this thing where she talked to a manager, and then we're like, you know what? Just have this stuff for free. It's just not worth anyone's time. Like, just if you're that concerned about, like, I mean, that's insane.
What was she trying to do with her? Is she a swimmer?
know.
Like, is it a write-off for her to be there or something?
Yeah, maybe she was some crazy lady who's like, hey, I'm babysitting right now. I'll count this as a write-off. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm going to itemize these airheads, actually.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, but speaking of the
Tax
murder thing, so
Yes.
every time Larry Hogan posts about murder, there's all these people who are like fucking like Trump supporting white people who live in the counties around Baltimore, like, oh, this is why we never go to Baltimore. It's so dangerous, blah, blah, blah. And it's just like,
Yeah.
I live in a neighborhood, like, we literally have 2 vegan bakeries in our neighborhood. I mean, like, it's crazy. Like, it's just like, you're this scared of life, of like living.
I'm with Umar. The actual thing we need to watch out for, meat is murder. I agree. That's
is
the real. That's the real thing that we should. But yeah, also like that's stopping them. It's like, yeah, I would go see the Ravens play, but did you hear they killed that bus driver?
Yeah.
Yeah,
What are you talking
it's just
about?
like, it's just like you're so dumb. You have like, it's just like this town. Like, yes, it's like sounds scary, but it's so crazy to be that scared. Like, I just couldn't imagine like thinking that if you set foot in this town, the likelihood of you being murdered is like 90%.
Well,
I mean, like, god damn, why are people so dumb?
That's a big swing, though, from the danger that they feel, you know, the whatever crime, black people, whatever, and then vegan restaurants. the people that are afraid of the black people, they're not going to vegan restaurants. They're not.
No,
they're not
I
going
know.
To,
but what I'm saying is, it's like
so for them,
it's like
it's a lose-lose for them. You know, they're not. You know,
yeah.
They're like, I would love a plant-based egg sandwich, but god damn it, there's so much crime.
the murder. I mean,
The murder. But if I could get a plant-based cupcake, Lord. We got to make this country great
I'm
again.
as
That's what I want
frothy
to
as
do.
a soy latte.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
No,
I get what you're
but
saying. Like you're outlining the safety or whatever, or the gentrification that's happened. But the people that are trying to go. If you said like they're scared of murder, and there's a rib shack right up the street, then maybe. But
dude, there's a
it
barbecue.
does kind of play.
There's a barbecue and whiskey bar right around the corner from my
Yeah,
house.
yeah,
I eat there. It's an awesome spot. But it's like, but that's what I'm saying. It's like these people like just most of this stuff happens in concentrated areas. It stays within a community, so like if you factor in those things, the likelihood of you being like murdered, it goes down. Yeah, we still have like violent crime or like, you know, like muggings, but it's like, I don't know. It's not happening at a rate where like Vice would come here and do a documentary on it. Like, actually, I think they have, but
I think they've done
probably
like
have.
a heroin one. Yeah,
No.
Umar, we were in it. Don't you remember?
yeah,
We were-
there was, I can't remember what it was, but there was a documentary on Baltimore recently, and I'm like, God, if I didn't live here, I would think Baltimore, like all of Baltimore City, is just like hell on earth. Because the stuff they showed, like, it's just like, it was wild. And I'm like, dude, this is like 3-4 minutes away from where we live.
Yeah.
You got a reputation, man, but it's not like it's just like anything else. Like this is so funny that a town like Baltimore, which I've been to just to perform, and but I only went to the Inner Harbor, right? Mm-hmm. The comedy club was there. When I would go up there, it's when what's it called? Is Powerline in the Inner Harbor too?
Power plant.
Power plant.
Power plant. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah.
That's in the Inner
Comedy
Harbor. Okay.
Factory.
Where did I went to the Comedy Factory when it was above that restaurant
Burke's.
on Light Street.
Yeah,
Yep.
Burke's.
Yeah,
Yep.
okay, Burke's, right. So one time though, I went and somebody asked for a ride from that show to I think the train station. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Penn Station, yeah.
Yeah, I gave him a ride, and I was lost immediately after that. And I said, "Oh, this is the scary part." Okay,
Yeah. Whoops.
this is the part, and this is before I had watched The Wire, so I didn't know the crazy. You know, I was just starting in comedy. I think I was like, this is when when you're 4 or 5 years in, and you're trying to get every audience you can.
Yeah.
But I was like, so Baltimore really isn't that. It's just like any other city.
Truly.
Yes.
Yes.
Exactly.
If the reputation, see, a lot of people don't reach for more information. They just go, is it dangerous? Or whatever information that's right in front of them, that's what they take. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Plus, it's easier, too, when there already is that narrative. Like those
Of course.
people that are tweeting, they're just like, see, there you go. It's all murder all the time.
I've
Dude,
seen the show.
it's-
I've already seen the
Oh.
show.
That-
I don't have
that
to do
is-
any other research.
That is tough for the city because we have two shows. The first one was called Homicide. And
Oh, that was
The
Baltimore
Wire
too?
Yeah, So David
Oh,
Simon,
fuck.
the
Same
creator
person.
of The Wire, his first show was Homicide, Life on the Streets in Baltimore.
That
So-
guy hates Baltimore, man.
So that's tough. We're known for two shows, both about murder. One literally titled Murder, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The nomenclature for murder.
Yes, exactly.
But it is funny because, because like to me, I'm like, well, what city doesn't have this issue, right? Like, I can't think of one like one city that doesn't have like this is where like all the yuppies hang out, and then there's this part we're trying to get rid of slowly, like without people noticing.
Like the gentrifying part.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
so like a great example, like when I was my girlfriend's parents retired in Georgia, like 45 minutes outside of Atlanta. So we went for Christmas because we're stupid. We don't care about COVID, or at least her. I do, but.
Well, you also had it, right? Didn't you have it?
Well, we had it already, but
so you had the antibodies.
Okay.
Well, we booked the trip before, and so the first time Karen and I were supposed to travel during the pandemic, I was like very worried. But then we all agreed we would, Karen's family, and we would drive to a place in South Carolina, and this was before.
Island?
No, South Carolina, like a beach down there.
No, I was just.
I don't know.
Because I just knew. I think there's a friend of mine. Not to cut you off, but there's a friend of mine.
No,
she
you're
will
fine.
go. I guess there's an island in South Carolina that's kind of close to Georgia. I was just being.
I have no idea, but.
Okay.
But this was before Corona had hit the South. Like at this point, it was just like New York, Seattle, or Washington, blah blah blah, and then it took a little bit for it to hit, and then it hit real hard. And South Carolina was like the worst state for a while.
Yeah.
And I got nervous, and I was like, Karen, like we shouldn't go. And she's like, we're gonna drive, and I'm like, we should not go. And then I was like, okay, we can go, but I'll go only if like everyone who's there agrees that we're not going to go eat out. We're not going to go like, on the boardwalk and stuff. And then we made an agreement to do that. And at the last minute it changed. And
of course.
I was like, I'm not going.
Yeah.
And Karen was like upset, but she understood, but she was upset. And then she ended up flying down there, which like at that point, flying was so scary because like no one really knew if it was that safe. So then when it came to Christmas, here's why Karen got me. She was like, you did a weekend of indoor shows. I did the Mark Norman shows.
Oh yeah, she got
me. And she was like, you shared a joint with somebody.
Oh.
Like, me and a couple other comics shared a joint.
How did she know? Was she there?
Oh shoot, joint. Not that kind of joint, but
you shared in joy.
We shared in
being
joy.
Inside. You shared joy. Joy.
Yeah, I work for schools.
That's what it was.
And so she got me, dude, because she would be like, you can't possibly
she was
take
like,
a moral high ground here.
You shared a heroin needle with Mark Norman. You smoked meth with Chris
that's
Allen.
That's the thing, like, yeah, exactly. Like, that's the thing, like, you first, dude, so I'm in a hotel room with Chris, and then Chris has a buddy because he can't ever travel without like a 20-year-old white kid with him.
Yeah.
And
questionable.
Typical Air Force guy.
Yeah.
Just typical.
Yeah.
And then
you can't do shit by yourself.
Mark Norman comes in, and now 4 people.
Army,
Mark
let's
Norman,
go.
who's been traveling across the country. He doesn't give a shit about anything. Now
Nothing.
we're all just sharing a hotel room. We're sharing a green room. Like, we're sharing food. It's crazy. And she got me, so we had to go. But anyway, we were there.
Was she there? How did she know? Or she saw pictures?
I told her. What am I going to do? Like, not tell her?
Oh, my God. Okay. All right.
Yeah. Dude, each night I came home at 5:30 in the morning.
Oh,
Like, she knew I was hanging.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean you can't give them specifics. I mean, that's
a tough lie though. It's like we hung out in an outdoor ventilated space until 4 a.m.
You don't have to lie
During the rain.
You don't have to lie. You just don't give specifics because I know she asked. She's a woman. She's a woman in her. They're
40.
manipulative. So you got to know what's coming up because if you know what's coming up,
Right.
then you know what they're going to be trying to angle for. But
I like Tim's approach because she's gonna be like, "What'd you do?" and be like, "We hung out. What's for dinner? Can we move on?"
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Why are we still talking about this?
we just hung out,
Yeah.
you know. I don't know. Like you always you keep it vague.
What did I do last night until 5 a.m? God,
Yeah.
I wish I
Yeah.
knew. Should we get brunch? What's the move? What are we doing?
And I had to go. There was no way to not.
Man.
But also to be fair, she's so right. Like if I can do indoor comedy shows, then I can fly.
Yeah, I flew recently to Nashville. It wasn't bad. Just
Yeah,
double
it's
masked
not
up.
safe, but
I mean, yeah, neither is going to the grocery store.
No.
Technically, you know. So,
Yeah.
but also, isn't the air like refiltered or whatever,
I don't-
recirculated in the
I
plane
don't
and all
know,
that?
dude. I don't
It-
care.
It
That's what
was,
I'm-
Yeah, yeah, that's what I hear is that it's like recirculated. But it is funny on the plane is like they're like, okay, if there's 3 seats, it's just 2 people. You have the one in the middle. Try to space it out as much as possible. But then they're like, here, would you like a water bottle and some goldfish? And then people are taking their masks down,
I
eating
know.
goldfish. I'm like, you're risking death for goldfish, my guy?
Goldfish?
You're 45 years old. What are you doing?
Bro.
Yeah.
This is we talked about this before, but I'll be whatever. But so we're in Atlanta, and Karen's family are conservative Trump supporters.
Oh, really?
And we've
No,
brought up the fact about like I've told the story like and even yesterday Karen was like, listen, you got to stop like yelling at my mom.
Why do you yell at her mother?
Because I can
call her
only
up.
take so much. I let so much go, and she will. We talked about this a couple podcasts ago, but she will say things, and it's just like, all right, I gotta like set you straight, you know, and it never works.
Never gonna happen.
Never.
They're never gonna. What does
I
she
know.
say? Is it just like?
Like stuff like, oh, well, your dad came here to be like more free, right? And I'm like, no, he was free, and he came here for money and
To be
and,
more
like,
free.
yeah, because
What
like
does
in
she
her head,
think?
I
Yeah.
don't know. Don't know.
They're
I
under
have
that
no
myth
idea.
that like America's the freest country ever.
Yeah.
Always. It's like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
And then she'll like the first time I ever met her, she'll be like, she referred to the kids that I work as like,
Underprivileged.
no, oh shit.
Whoa, really?
Wait a minute. What
Karen's
happened?
not here. No, because Karen would get so mad. Dude,
She
this,
referred
I'm
to
so
it as what?
stupid.
Okay, yeah, because it's worse, Umar, you not saying anything because we're filling in the blank of what she said,
Oh.
and it's
Yeah.
the worst,
Oh,
the worst
sorry.
thing. You're like, and she said, "Ugh, I don't know if I could say. We're like, oh my god, she
Call
called them
niggers?
that.
Like, what she call them? What'd she say?
Oh,
What'd she
like
say?
yo
I mean-
boys, yo boys.
Yo, boys.
Yeah.
Why does
What a
Karen
wa-
get mad at that?
No, I get mad at that.
Oh, of course. No, I mean, like, why does she? Or you don't
She
want
would get
her
mad
mom?
that I'm talking about it.
And,
Okay,
'cause-
okay.
and then Umar's like, you show them respect. They are yo men. You understand? All right? You put some respect on that.
But anyway, so then like, we get in arguments and blah, blah, blah. So then, man, this story does not matter anymore. We're so far removed from what I was going to say about county people.
No,
I mean, kind of. We're talking about Southern people, I
Yeah.
guess. Kind of same thing of like, there's a narrative. Like, same thing, like, the narrative is like, every immigrant comes here because their country is horrible and then we're the best. Like, that's what she's doing.
Right.
Like, the stereotypes.
I mean, for sure that is a lot of it, but then it's not like, it's just like, there's just people, want to make money. Like my parents came here
yeah.
for money.
Of course.
Yeah.
Money. That's why comics are moving to Austin they're saving money.
AKA
Yeah.
Joe Rogan.
Yeah.
Oh, a lot of them
It's-
are. Yeah.
It's funny because
Yeah.
I'm seeing like legit like open mic comedians moving to Austin. And it's like, what do you think's going to happen?
So, but the
Well-
same way that, but that's the same way people move to
Well,
LA.
maybe you're right.
People move to LA being
Yeah.
like, it's gonna happen. It's the same thought process, just a different city.
I mean, Nick Mullen did when he was when he started. He moved. I was
moved when he
surprised
was
by
young.
that. He moved right. He may have been 4 years in before he moved to Austin, and we would talk because I'm from there, and he would be like, And he was just doing local shows, and he was blowing up. He moved.
Yeah, he got JFL for beat from Austin.
He got JFL. Because he won funniest person in all, funniest comic in Austin, I think.
Which it's a good move because you're the funniest guy in a smaller city. You know what I mean? You're going to get more shine than if you move to a New York trying to compete that way.
And I think that was at the time, Austin was becoming like the anti-LA, anti-New York. And he moved down with this guy named Norm Wilkerson. And Norm was, at the time, I think he was in his 40s, right? 40s, maybe 50s, or close to it.
Wait, Nick was living with him?
I don't think he was living with him. I feel like Nick moved down there because of Norm. I think he looked up to Norm when he first started, because Norm was kind of like him. This was like the Wiseacres area. I don't know if you guys heard of that comedy club.
Yeah.
But we were all like, that's when DC comedy was all disjointed, and everybody was. You had the Baltimore side, you had the Virginia side, and you had the DC side. So Wiseacres was the spot in Virginia, and when that fell apart, then the Virginia people said, so I have a open mic in Woodbridge that you can go to, and then everybody started going to Brittany's for a little while, and that was a travesty, but because Woodbridge is what's the word? It's like Timonium, like that kind of audience.
I've heard that Woodbridge to Virginia is Dundalk to Maryland is what I hear basically.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of that crowd.
Vibe.
Yeah, that vibe. There you go. It's a vibe. It's an industrial. It's a hardworking. I would always use my military background as a, hey, I'm one of you. I'm not gonna judge you.
Yeah.
Because I think. Go ahead.
Oh no, I was gonna say, Tim, because you said you're from Texas and then you were in the military. Because we've known each other for a long time, but I didn't really know your story of like how you started and how you ended up in DC.
Oh, okay. So I got into the Army in '96, and then I came to the DC area in 2000.
How old were you?
Oh, when I joined, I was 18, straight out of high school.
Okay.
Where in Texas did you grow up?
I grew up in Waco.
God. Yeah. Go ahead.
My dad would do this. He had a job. I didn't know what the name was at the time, but I think right now it's called arbitrage. He would buy like car parts and then sell them for a profit, right? Mm-hmm. So he would just do that all over Texas. He was always in Dallas, Houston. Every now and then he would leave Texas, like Wichita Falls, places like that. So after high school, I didn't want to go to college because I didn't want to do more school. So he took me with him to Houston. And then he was like, okay, you going back home because I'm not used to having just my son with me, So after a week, I went back home to the house that I grew up in, which my mom had. I think my sister and I, we moved out of the house when I was in, what's 15? 10th grade.
10th grade, yeah.
So 2 years, I'm living with my mom and my sister going out of my mind. And my dad, of course, is traveling all around. I would see him here and there. But so I wanted to go and live with my dad. And then he sends me back to the old house. So I'm there in that house for like a month or whatever. And I'm eating pizza every day. I'm like, so my dad goes, maybe you should join the Army. Like that, just like that. And I was like, maybe I should. I got nothing else because
I'm eating too much pizza.
I'm 18. I
gotta get away from this pizza. I gotta avoid the Noid.
Yeah. And then I would everybody else had kids. Like, I mean, this is small
18
town.
had kids?
At like 18,
Dog,
20?
No. There was a girl she was 12, she had a kid. So 18, like 18 was like, oh, you don't have any kids? You're gay. Like that was no kids and no kid, you are gay, right? So I was like, well, there's gotta be. It was weird thinking this way, but I was like, this can't be it. Like I've seen bigger shit, right? Mm-hmm. Of course, I'm watching like rap videos every day, and I'm like, the world is much bigger than this shit here. So I just took the ASVAB. I got a decent score, and then I left. I left in November actually. So
yeah, and you're like, you thought I was gay? I'm in the army.
I'm
now.
in the army.
So in your face.
So, but after like 4 years, I did my training was like 2. I was a photographer, so.
How'd you get into that?
AV.
And like you were a photographer for the army?
So it was so fucking everything about me joining the army and what I did was so like matter of fact. It was like my dad said, maybe you should join the army. I joined the army. I go to to take the test, or I go to like pick my job or whatever. I go through all of this training. It's a longer story, but I go to this place. It's called MEPS. It's where they in-process you and then they send you out, right? Every state has one, and mine was in San Antonio. So I'm at the MEPS station. And they're like, so what do you want to do? You qualify for, and she starts reading off things, and she's like, you could be a medical assistant. And I was like, every woman in my family is a nurse. So I'm like, I've heard how terrible that shit is.
This is
so
where you double down. You double down. You're like, are you calling me fucking gay?
Yeah.
Because I'm not.
What the hell?
A nurse?
So I'm like, I don't want to do anything in medical. And she says, what is this other job? I think it's combat documentation. And I'm like, what's that? She said, I think it's a photographer. And I'm like, that one. Like, so I joined. It's the longest training. So you do basic training, and then whatever your job is, you do the training for that right after basic.
Right.
It's called AIT. The longest AIT. Between that and being a linguist, it's probably, those are the top 2. It's like 9 months. So I'm in the Army 2 years, and I haven't even gone to like permanent party, which is.
I guess it is a lot easier to kill people than to take good pictures.
Yeah. I mean, because we learn photo and video. So I think infantry is of course, is like being a real soldier. That's like a month and a half or something.
Yeah.
And you don't even
like, shoot the gun, shoot it that way. Let's go. Okay.
Shoot it in that direction.
At that guy. Thank you. Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure there's a lot more to it. Like you could tell the infantry guys though. We all got like a smart book when you go to basic training. You have to learn all of these basic skills. Those infantry guys, the drill sergeants stayed on there. Who my 11 Bravos at? Where are they at? They would raise their hand and then go, "You come with me," and then they would make them study that smart book because they had to know all of that shit.
Yeah, because they're gonna be out there. Yeah.
Yeah. They didn't even leave. Like after basic, you leave and go to wherever your AIT is going to be. They didn't even leave the infantry people. We're like on a bus to go to the airport to fly away. They're like waving at us with the drill sergeants. Like, I'll be here for another month and a half.
All right.
So I went to Florida, Pensacola, Florida for my school. And then
we're sending you to the war zone of Florida to take pictures. It's horrific.
We're sending you to the war zone of joint duty with. You have to learn photography with Navy, Air Force, and Marines. But then, after that, I went to North Carolina, and then from North Carolina, I got this call to. They wanted photographers at the White House, so. That's how I ended up in D.C.
That's so tight.
So, you were there when Bush was there, right? Bush Jr.?
I was there when Clinton was there. That's when I started working there.
His second term?
His second term, yeah.
God.
I mean, literally the last.
That's
3
when
months.
all this stuff was happening, right?
No.
Yeah.
That's when all the stuff was over. So he was done. So the people in my shop, it's called White House TV, and you know how the press follows the president around, and they record everything he does, and then they put it on their news network. White House TV follows him around with the press, and everything that we're documenting him. So everything we shoot, or everything I shot then, went to the National Archives in D.C.
Oh, cool.
Wow.
So, and then whenever they leave, it goes to their library, wherever it is. So, Clinton's is Arkansas. Bush's, of course, is in Texas. And
So you're
Obama's
just at
in
the
Chicago.
White House, like your 9 to 5 is just video recording the president?
Yeah,
Pretty
like I
much.
got hot footage of Bill Clinton eating a cheeseburger. Really
Why-
good stuff today.
Why do they want that? What's the point of it?
Because they want a personal record of because if the press just has all of it, they have to the press is their companies. So the government can't say, hey, let's get that footage of the president they have to go to that company and go, can you sell us the footage? And the companies charge, of course, $10,000 for whatever amount or more. So they said, well, we'll just have military people. We're already paying them. Let's just have them follow the president around. I mean, who else would the president feel safe around besides military people?
Yeah.
The whole shop is military, and we go everywhere. Depending on the president. With Clinton, we did every event. So a cheeseburger shot happens. Like Clinton, we recorded everything that dude did, man. And when Bush got in office, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, did you see him eat babies? What satanic rituals did you get on film?
If he ate babies, he ate them quick because I mean, we were we would have like a list of events, and we would go, okay, you cover this one, you cover this one, you cover. We had to shoot all of that shit, right? And then
every single day.
every single day. And this is when
So do you
Clinton-
mic him at these events, like when you're shooting
No,
him?
so it's just, but we're just off to the side. We don't engage with the
okay.
president. We're just there to document. And we've gone with Clinton. We shot everything, and this is getting out of office. Clinton. This is second term. He's campaigning for Al Gore when I get there. So we're traveling every week. I think one weekend we did 5 states.
Damn.
We went. You go in the morning. You get on Air Force One. You fly
Wait,
to.
you got on Air Force
That's what I was-
One?
that's what I was
Yeah,
gonna
that's how
ask.
we.
Were you-
Yeah, that's how we travel. Yeah.
Holy
Yeah, 'cause if-
shit.
Because that's how he's traveling, right? So
Yeah,
you're,
yeah.
if you're documenting that.
How
Yeah.
dope is that? Is Air
Yeah.
Force One like crazy?
It's like Air Force One is kind of weird. So it's most of it is very nerve-wracking. Like a young kid who might be gay from Waco, Texas, and you're around
Might
all
be
these
gay. Oh.
might be gay. You're around. I'm trying to lighten this up.
Yeah.
You're around all of these diplomats, and you're around all of these high-profile people, and they got movies on there that are in the movie theater. They're on the plane. Like you can watch that.
Wow.
If I had a weekend where I didn't have a trip, like my friends would be like, "Yo, we supposed to see this movie." I'm like, "I already saw it. It's not that good, dog." Like,
Yeah, it's not great. I saw it on Air Force One
I
in a
saw it on-
recliner.
yeah.
I saw it in the sky, dog. So
literally,
you
every seat is a first class seat. Like, and we sat with, like, there's different compartments of the plane. We sat in the compartment with Secret Service, unless they kicked us out, and we would have to sit in the back of the plane with the press. They kept the press in the back of the plane just because, But yeah, Clinton was a funny guy, and he was getting ready to leave, man. So everything was late.
He's like, I'm out of here, so it's whatever.
Everything was late. Everything was, he's supposed to be here at noon. He get there at like 4. And we just have to wait, We have these trip books, unless we were going overseas or something like that. I think I did one overseas trip with him. And then maybe it was with Bush. We went to Vietnam. Maybe it was with Bush. I'm not sure. I can't remember right now, but I still have a lot of the old books. I still have a lot of the old trip placards or whatever. But because we had to go you have to play the card that wherever you are. So we had these little trip pins that we're quote unquote White House staff, but if there's a different kind of event, the credentials that we need might have to say White House press. So we'd ask like the press people, hey, can we get one of your press badges so we can get in too? So, I mean, we work with the press, but when it came down to it, we shot a lot more of like the secret stuff, a lot of the stuff that they couldn't get into. So
so if he's having like a meeting on the plane with some dignitary or diplomat, you guys are shooting that probably.
Yeah, we'd have to ask with that all changed. We knew we had to do it with Clinton. When Bush got in office, we had to ask. They were very like, "What are you doing in here?" Like it was a big change, and my buddy still works there. And he talked about like when Obama got in office. I left when Obama got in office, right? Because the workload from Clinton to Bush, it was like 5-fold. So when Bush got in office, everybody was chill. And the big thing for me and President Bush was he would go to Texas. When he went to Texas, I went home. Because Crawford is 20 minutes from Waco.
Oh, that's cool.
So I went home. I went home so much with him. Everybody was talking about how much he went home. I was like, I fucking love this shit. Right?
Right. Because, everybody on the news is like, how much brush can he clear on his property? And you're like, let him clear all the fucking brush.
Shut up. And it was easy trips, man. He would go home. And he went home so much, my mom pulled me aside and said, you really don't, it's okay. You really don't work at the White House, do you? Like,
oh, no.
She's like, do you need money? Are you okay?
Right. My sister, everybody in my age, or everybody that she saw was either working at Walmart or there's nobody like doing too much, or they have 4 or 5 kids or whatever. And she saw me coming home every other weekend and was like, Tim, you don't have to lie. Like, it's okay.
You're sleeping in your car.
Are you sleeping? Yeah. Yeah.
Could you have your mom just like, do you want to meet the president?
No.
No. Okay.
We couldn't initiate conversation. We couldn't talk to him. No.
That doesn't help. That doesn't help your story. She's like, well, fine. I want to meet him. You're like,
exactly.
You can't.
Yeah.
My girlfriend goes to a different school.
All right,
exactly.
Get a picture. I
can't. I can't.
Yeah. So
damn, that's so funny.
But Obama got in office. Let me see. Bush was in office, and it was light, so it was cool. Obama got in office, man, and he hit the ground running. Like
really.
Everybody needed to be on camera, and we needed to like support everybody. Valerie Jarrett, Michelle Obama. I do a joke about her, but she was the best one. She was the best one.
Like, like very cool, like nice to you guys.
Cool. Everything was lighthearted with her. I feel like Obama was very. He was the president. It's tight. You can't be lax when you're probably one of the most threatened presidents, the first black president too. So he side-eyed everybody, probably not on purpose, just
But just comes with the territory.
Yeah. But I left a year into him, which people like, dog, it's the first black president. I'm like, I want to I want to have a weekend.
I had the same thought. I'm like, what the fuck?
I want to have a weekend off, man. And when I left,
you're like, he was working me like a slave.
oh, yeah. Him and his whole team. I can't do shit.
Yeah. I prefer George Bush over him. Good Christ.
I shudder to say that, but fucking true.
Yeah. You're like, man, Mitt Romney would have been tight.
He would have been.
McCain, come on.
Dog,
lax.
My friend, okay, so my friend has been there the whole time. So he was there all the way through Obama's 8 years, and he was there during Trump's.
I was going to say, like, was there a piece of you that's like the shit that you could have seen? I mean, talk about eating cheeseburgers.
Dog,
Jesus Christ. Like,
we would talk for an hour. We would talk for an hour almost every day. Biden got in office. I haven't talked to him since January 20th. Like, they've been running. Like, those events that you see.
They get to choose, like, what they want and don't want.
What do you mean, like
schedule wise?
Like, hey, I don't want any of this film. They can just say that. Because that's why is your work so light? Like, I'm trying to understand.
So Trump didn't have like events, right?
He didn't have events. He didn't have. He didn't have. It was different than Bush, of course. I mean, but yeah, Trump just didn't do anything at the White House, and we would set up. So my job changed. So after I got out of the Army, they hired me as a contractor. So I stayed at the White House, and I would set up events. That's where my buddy works. So you setting up events. If the president doesn't do anything, then
you're not doing it.
You're not doing shit, right? They also like cover the press lobby. If there's no press briefing,
they didn't do that shit for like the last year, essentially.
Yeah. I mean, they just got whatever they could get out of, they eventually just got out of it.
Yeah, I remember seeing Trump's schedule because it's public every day, like what the president's schedule is. Yeah. And towards the end, like especially after the election, like they didn't even fake it of like listing like 1:15 a meeting with blah blah. It was empty, and it just said the president will take many meetings and make many important calls.
It's like it's just insane, man. It was insane. So. Yeah, just remember, but Bush just pared us down. So when we had like this gigantic camera, you've seen them, like the big TV cameras. We go into an event, we had an audio guy with a boom pole or whatever, and then Bush was like, "Do we need two of you? Do we need two people here?"
Holy shit!
Wow!
Let's say that out loud.
Well, no, I mean, I'm just, they just said we don't need two. Let's just one person. Yeah. And then can we get rid of the gigantic camera, and then we had to buy like smaller like video cameras or whatever. Not camcorders, but close.
Right.
Yeah. Like really close.
Yeah. Yeah, and, Bush is like, are iPhones a thing yet? Can we just shoot this on a fucking iPhone or something?
Yeah, something about these cameras I don't like. So they pared us down a lot.
Right.
Less events, less weight on our shoulders and everything. So
it had to be insane with 9/11, right? I mean, that's like.
So I was in Florida with the president on 9/11. September 11th.
Were you in the classroom when he found out?
So the trip was a 2-day trip, right? It was a 2-day trip. Okay. It was kind of a weird thing. So the September 10th, we were in another. President would do this thing where he's on the campaign trail for someone local. He would go to one city, and then he would go, like, you spend the night there, and then you wake up the next morning, you go to another city, right? So the 10th, actually we flew out that night. So we went on the 10th to a school in Florida, and then they said, this is kind of a light trip. I don't know how we overheard that. We were on what's called the trip breaks down like there's a crew that goes out before the president to like to shoot the main shot. And then there's another crew that rides with him on Air Force One, right? So it's called the press plane and, of course, the Air Force One plane or team or whatever. So on that trip, I was on the press plane. Me and my buddy, we flew out early. We set up our camera and everything. He arrived. We did the shoot. He leaves. We overhear Air Force One is kind of light. So we say, maybe we can hop on Air Force One to get to our other city early. Just as a, we sat with our team. They let us do it. So we sat with our team. It's so weird. 4 of us were on Air Force One together. It's probably the only time that's ever happened, like that our team was able to do that. Next day, September 11th.
Yeah, because you have two
crews.
Each.
So, two crews each, right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, and we said, because what happens is with the press plane, you have to wait with the press because after an event, they have to file. They have to send out their information to their people. They don't hold that stuff. They don't wait on it. They go, the president just now did a thing. So we said, we don't want to wait here with them and then go later tonight. Let's just go now on Air Force One. They let us do it. So we hop on Air Force One. We took like a picture and everything. We get there early. We're staying at a resort in Sarasota, Florida.
Wow.
It's red tide, and so it smells horrible. Red tide is like when the fish die or whatever. So it's awful.
Like the water's literally red with blood.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
It's awful. So we're there. And
that's definitely, it's not an omen or anything. That's fine.
Yeah.
Normal.
We're there and we spend the night at this resort. There's like brie cheese when we walk in, and then next morning we get up, we go to that school, and the plan is we go and set up for the big event that's going to be on TV, and of course
9/11.
President's doing September. September. Yeah, that's a big event. We
planes
find
hitting
out
the towers.
Yeah.
Big event.
Literally, like the president's walking around the school, and then you kind of hear like whispers of some plane hit some building. And it builds and it builds. A Cessna hit the. And it's like telephone. I mean, every rumor was just worse and worse. Every time you heard something new, it was worse and worse. A airliner just hit the World Trade Center. Another airline plane just hit the other one. A plane crashed in Pennsylvania. There's a plane headed for the Pentagon right now. Also, there was a plane headed for the White House.
Yes.
They had to evacuate our building. So while we're out there hearing all of this shit, back in D.C., they're evacuated. Like they leave the building. The White House complex has the White House in it, and it also has this building called the EEOB. That's where we worked at the time. They moved our location to a different place after, not after September 11th, but when Obama got in office. But when I was there, that's where we worked inside that complex, right? So we find out what's going on. The president, Andy Card, comes in, tells him, and he looks weird with the kids or whatever. And then they leave. Yeah. They don't come to our event. They just leave. So, he's got to go to the... So they leave. They go to Alabama or something, I think. And then he does they're flying around. They have to figure some stuff out. Meanwhile, we're back in Florida, and they say, all right, everybody, we're going to pack up, and we're going to get back to D.C. We try to leave, but I don't know if you remember that day, no flights could go anywhere that day.
They grounded everything.
They grounded everything.
Yeah.
So we try to go to the airport, of course. Of course, we're just a regular airplane. So they say no. So we're stuck in Sarasota, Florida at a resort.
Red Tide.
Red Tide. And we stayed there for 3 days. And then we finally, somebody got some buses somehow. And then they said, we're just going to drive back up to D.C.
Whoa.
And we watched bootleg Swordfish. Remember Swordfish?
Yes. Do I remember it? You get to see Halle Berry's boobs.
You get to see Halle Berry's tetas. And yeah, it was and we drove, it was 3 p.m., 3 or 4 p.m. Friday evening, so it was packed, like traffic everywhere. We drive right by the Pentagon, and we see that big ass hole right on the side of it. And
what a weird, surreal bus ride, because you're going through a lot of America. Like, that's a long ass bus ride.
Yeah.
Damn.
So that's where I was.
That's crazy. That's crazy that you were there, essentially. Like, I mean, when he found out, wow.
Right in the next room.
Damn.
And,
God damn.
That is insane. So, and then growing up in Waco, then were you around when they had the whole like David Koresh compound thing and all that stuff?
You know what's funny? I was. It sounds like fake news, but yeah, I was. I was in the 9th grade.
How far away were you from it?
So Waco is the city, supposedly in that part of Texas, and then Mount Carmel it's basically on the outside of Waco. Waco just happens to be the closest city. So if Waco is, let's say, Lorton, Mount Carmel is, if Waco is D.C., Mount Carmel is, I want to say like the what's it called? The Marine Corps Memorial in Virginia. I'm trying to think of the relationship in Maryland. If Baltimore is Waco, then Mount Carmel would be Timonium? Or
okay.
Or
maybe,
you know what I mean?
Maybe like a little more, but it's like like 45 minutes out or whatever.
Yes, that's exactly where it is. It's 45 minutes out. So it's in between. It's in between two cities, and they said Waco. Well, that's the one.
We'll make it the bigger one.
We'll make it the bigger by.
It sounds like a candy place if they're like Mount Caramel was attacked.
Yeah.
There's candy in the streets. So did you guys know about them though? Like the Branch Davidians or whatever they were? Like, was that talked about in Waco, or was it just?
We didn't know. We didn't know that they were there. We just knew because it was on a Sunday. That's the only thing we knew. The next day, I just remember the next day my teacher being very emotional because, there were kids in there, and you see the ATF agent go up to the window, and then he gets shot, and then he falls backwards or whatever. And we go, why is everybody going so crazy about this? I mean, we're in 9th grade. What do we care?
What is this? Yeah. I mean, I was in 10th grade when 9/11 happened. And I remember at lunch, they're like, we're dismissing everybody early. And we were like, woo! What a day.
Same. I was so pumped. I was like, damn, I get to go home.
Yeah.
This is awesome.
We didn't understand there. Yeah, same thing. It was like a plane hit the building in New York or something.
This is also a funny thing, like, because on 9/11, I was in 8th grade. And I was in this class called that's so funny. You were like with the president, and I was in 8th grade in tech class.
Yeah, I was in 10th grade chemistry. I'm like, who cares? Are we going home? What's going on?
Well, it's so weird to hear other people's like where you were at that moment.
Yeah. So that point, when I was in my tech ed class, only one plane had hit the building, and this guy, Mr. Williams, was like. He was our teacher, and he was like, "Hey, like, there's like a plane hit the building in New York City. It's a huge tragedy, blah blah blah." And we were like, it was just like he said it was an accident.
Yeah.
He said a pilot accidentally flew into a building.
Well, that's what you. that's just kind of what you have to assume because you have no frame of reference. You're not
Yes.
like, yeah, they fly planes into buildings. It was like, oh my God, what happened to that pilot?
This is like, before smartphones, social media, blah, blah, blah. So like, as from that class ending and I walk to my next period, my teacher has the news on and a second plane had hit the building.
Oh, yeah.
And she was like, we're not going to work. We're just watching TV. And I think like, so then this is the hilarious part of the story. Well, not like just thinking about it now as like a 32-year-old man. Like
it's 9/11. It's already a laugh riot.
So they declared that all schools are closing 3 hours early.
Wow.
Which kind of looking back on it, kind of like overkill, but I guess I get it. But there's a law that you have to, if you're in school, you have to feed all the kids.
Yes, so that's why we found out at lunch.
The cafeteria, and it's just like the country's under attack, and someone's worried about getting sued.
Yeah,
that's so funny to me.
But
like,
also,
we gotta get these kids fucking shitty food in them before they get sent home.
Yeah,
there had to be
worried about their health.
Yeah. There had to be kids though that are like, if I don't get my fucking snack, this is gonna be the worst day of my life. I'm getting that orange fucking creamsicle. I don't care what's happening. Send me to
so fucking. It was, and then what ended up happening was like it was just complete chaos in our school because they were just sending everyone to the cafeteria. Then like parents all came to the school
because they're
just
freaked out too. They're like,
yeah,
give me my
and
kid.
They're just wanting. But then like there's like this whole process of having to sign kids out. And my mom wanted to bring me and all my neighbors home because we're all like the and they wouldn't let her. And she was like, all right, fuck it. And
you can't do that.
And then I just remember going over to my friend's house and we all just were hanging out and like watching. It was crazy. And
playing video games.
Yeah. How long were you guys out of school after like?
No, we went back the next day.
Yeah.
Okay.
Went back the next day.
Okay.
Yeah, I remember like teachers were crying and all kinds of stuff. Yeah, it was.
Oh
dude,
wow.
And you know what's so funny? That night we're watching the news and it came out that day that Osama bin Laden and Taliban were part of it.
Yeah.
And when they flashed that on the news, my friend's dad, he's like, hey, you guys better be careful. Like to me and my brother, he's like, because people are going to like be idiots. The next day I go to school.
Literally the next day.
Yeah.
I mean, he was like, I think like being funny because I went to like a 99% black school. So it wasn't so it was just like this funny kid. Like, but he was like, I didn't know him and he was kind of a bully. And he was like an 8th grader when I was like a 6th. No, I was an 8th grader. So we're both 8th graders, but he was just like way bigger than me. He comes over to me and he's like, right. I'm just walking up to school the next day and he's like, is Osama bin Laden your uncle? Are you family with him? He just like pulled me by the collar, like joking around. And I'm just like, no. It was how he was like, and he's like, are you a terrorist? And I was just like, no, but that's like literally the only racism I've ever experienced because of 9/11. Like that's why I just never believe brown comics when they say they're. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
No, I believe him because
You're
I've
serious.
done so. I believe him because I've done so much racism. Because so I was on the other. I'm on the other end of it. Yeah. I lived it too.
But I also live in a very liberal part of the country, so that's
Yeah.
But. It's just so funny. It's the only racism I experienced from 9/11. It was from like a 13-year-old black kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're pretty racist though. I mean.
But every group is.
Yeah.
Every group is. Yes. 100%.
Listen to black people talk about Asians. Like we're not nice,
Dude, my dad mocks how Asian people talk, and I'm like,
Dog.
Dad, you talk funny.
You can't.
I'm like, Dad, there's a whole character based on The Simpsons on how you talk, motherfucker.
My grandfather was. I mean, he was in the army or whatever, but
yeah,
some about Asians, man. He just didn't. Where's she from? Any girl that he saw that I was talking, where's she from? Where you from, girl? He.
Oh my God.
She's from Killeen, Papa. She's from like a nearby. She's from Temple. Like, relax.
Yeah.
Like
Temple, China? Where?
Yeah. The Temple?
Yeah.
Like, what you mean? Right.
Well, dude, I mean, even it came out how racist immigrants are in the 2020 election when people were like, wait, this many Hispanics voted for Trump and more black people voted for Trump this time. And Hispanic people, a big reason they voted for Trump, or like a lot of people were saying, is they didn't like how the Democrats looped them in as people of color because they associate that with black people and they don't want to be associated with black people.
Yeah. It's such a weird
hilarious
thing,
yeah.
If you don't want to be a part of that
bizarre.
group, if you don't want to be a part of that group, man, they try to make sure, and then they capitalize on it. Republicans capitalize on the you're way better than them.
Yeah. And then Democrats are dumb too because they're like, oh, we're sorry, Hispanic people. I mean, we'll call you Latinx people. And they're like, we don't like that either. What are you talking about?
Well, I mean, why are you being so? Because it just looks disingenuous. It looks fake. I'll do anything for you. I'll do anything to. Nobody wants that either. Just be racist and we.
It's funny. They're like, at least we know what Trump is. He's consistent. Like he's a piece of shit, but we know it. Yeah.
Yeah. There's a bit of you can at least I know where he stands. I know that not Democrats individually, but as a group, I know they're racist too. It's not overt, but it's harder to find why they're racist, and that's unsettling.
Right.
You feel the racism, but you go, it's not.
Yeah.
With them, I know. Like with the I know they're racist. There's all lives matter and all that. I get that. Right.
Yeah.
That's racist. Easy. You guys, you're trying some shit, but I don't know what it is, and I don't like that.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Like the liberals aren't going to have like an NPR tote bag that also has a Confederate flag on it,
No.
like to let you know where they stand.
I don't know what it is. It's I think I think for the most part, people genuinely want to be good people. Mm-hmm. I think most people genuinely want to be good people. And Democrats, like, I just think a lot of them don't know that what they do and what they say can come off that way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's guided, or like maybe like I remember I'll say this, like I don't know if this woman is a Democrat or Republican, but she works in Baltimore City public schools, and she works in rough neighborhoods, rough schools, like, so she's not like I do not believe she's racist,
right?
Mm-hmm.
But I think she would say things and do things that she would say things like, because we worked in a very impoverished area, like probably one of the worst neighborhoods in Baltimore, and she would say things like, "Oh, I don't understand like why these parents have like all these cell phones if they can't even like provide for their kids." And I'm like, "Well, it's just a part of society. Like, do you want them to be like that disconnected from society? Like it's like a like." I don't know. It's a weird thing to say. It comes off a certain way.
Mm-hmm.
It just comes off as unaware.
Yes.
Maybe depending on the cell phone. Maybe like if they have
smartphones.
Maybe the latest, like the latest iPhone.
They all do.
Maybe not the iPhone 12. Maybe a flip phone. Maybe a Sprint.
No.
Maybe a
lot
Razr.
of them have a lot of them have like the most up to date, or if not very recent iPhone.
Okay, well, I kind of see her point at that.
Really?
Latest iPhone.
Yeah.
How much is the latest? Like that's $1,200, $1,300
It's
bucks, right?
I know. It's crazy because I was looking at a guitar the other day and I'm like, oh, this is $1,000. That's crazy. And then I'm like, but I'm looking at it on a $1,300 phone.
On your phone.
Yeah.
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 But my phone doesn't leave my side for like 5 years,
Yeah.
And I can use it better than I can play guitar.
Then it falls
But anyway,
apart. Mine is slowly.
I just think I understand but it's just like it just feels weird. There's a weird energy to like it makes you that upset.
That's what
that you have to say something to somebody about it. And to me,
that's the feeling that we get. Like when we're around I used to do a joke about it, like racism is a feeling. It's like when women talk about creepy.
Yes.
And you ask them like, well, that guy's creepy. What's creepy about him? I don't know. It's just, I just feel creepy. Racism, I can feel racism. Like I can.
Yes.
I'm like, yeah. What's the? So your feeling is valid, I'm sure, for her. I mean, it's like, why angry? Like, why upset about a thing? Why not?
Yeah.
Why not just inquiry? Like inquire.
And then there's also a certain type of person that wants to be like, and look, like I'm dumb and I'm not professional. I was an intern and like at this time, I was like a full-time paid intern. Like that's part of the program to be a school psychologist. So I was working under another school psychologist, and so I would in meetings, I'm just like shooting the shit with the teachers, and I became friends with one of the teachers. She like comes to my shows to this day, and she's like just super cool. Her and her husband are super cool, and I don't remember, something happened, like something came up with like talking about like, and I was like, oh, I don't want to say her name. I'm like, hey, blah, 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 how old are you? And she's like, I don't want to say. And I'm like, how old are you? And I was like, why? Who cares? Like, we all just said our ages. Like, all of us at the table said our age, you know? And then I get it. Like, I did fuck up. Like, that's me being an idiot because I'm at work. And she said later, she's like, like, I'm in a position, like, I'm a kind of considered a consultant because my job is to help teachers, like learn new ways to like blah, 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 blah. And so I don't want them to know that I'm younger than them because that could make me seem like less competent. And I think it was really rude of you.
That's a good point.
It is, but then no, the teachers don't like her because she's so uptight.
Hilarious.
The teachers told me that. She would send me screenshots of them shit-talking her.
That's hilarious.
As I'm an intern, the teacher, it's just like, dude, no one gives a shit about you. This is what people need to realize. Like, most people don't care about your age or like whatever. They just want you to be cool, Just be cool.
That being cool, I mean, that'll get you, if you cause trouble at work.
Far.
That'll get you so fucking far. Just being easy to be around is...
I think you're going to hire somebody, too, that's like semi-qualified and cool versus somebody that's like uber qualified and an asshole.
And
weird.
Yeah,
and you're like, I don't want to spend 8 hours a day, 40 hours a week for the rest of my life with this person. Like, they're very smart, but they're a fucking weirdo. If you're cool, they're like, we can educate. They can learn. They can get trained. Like,
I learned that after I had my clearance. After I got out of the Army, I was a little scared, and man, they were like, it took me a couple years to figure it out, but I was like, I would just go to job interviews like, hey, what's going on? I would just hang out. And they were like, we'd like to offer you this position for... I was like, oh, I have to be cool. That's it. I mean,
Yeah.
they can teach you.
Yeah.
You're going to have to learn on the job anyway.
Also, that's
Right.
stand up. That's life. I think stand up taught me that that's life too. Like stand up, you have to be cool, but not too cool. You also have to like give a shit, but not give too much of a shit. Otherwise, the audience is like, this guy wants it too bad. You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
Or if you don't care, they're like, why should I care if he doesn't care? But if you walk that line where you're cool, they're like, yeah, this guy.
And with
is cool.
stand up, it's the same as real life. Like headliners, they would rather have someone who's super cool and not as funny versus someone who's super funny but not cool.
Yeah.
And annoying, right?
Because for headliners, they just want someone who's fun to hang out with.
Because it's
Yeah.
a job. That's the
They
job too.
don't really care how you do.
They want a cool coworker. Because
Yeah,
also
they
the
don't
headliner's like, I'm gonna do fine. I don't care about what.
Yeah, they don't want someone to bomb, but it
Right.
doesn't matter if
Yeah.
they kill or not.
Yeah. You don't have to destroy as a. You know how hard it is to destroy as an MC. I mean,
Yeah, or
You
even
just have to-
feature.
or even feature. I mean, feature spot. You're supposed to kind of level it out. But
No, for
going up-
sure. But what I'm saying is like the feature spot is definitely easier, the easiest.
Yeah.
But like they don't really give a shit if you
if
kill.
you're cool. Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
do fine. Just do
Do
well.
yes. Don't fuck it up. Essentially,
Yeah.
don't fuck up the show.
Don't fuck it up. Like don't be getting people like so upset that like they want to leave. Don't walk. If you shouldn't be walking people.
No,
like, you shouldn't
no,
take pride
never.
in walking people.
Yeah.
You shouldn't be combative. Just up the middle. Be cool.
Yeah.
Fit the crowd.
And that's life. Exactly.
Yeah.
Listen,
And
I think that's a good note to go out on. I think.
Yeah.
Don't fuck it up. Okay.
fuck
Don't
it up,
fuck it up.
Don't fuck it up. Tim, you want to plug your show and your pod? Even though
Please.
we're technically on yours as well.
Well,
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean, you can listen to this on the Digression Sessions or Digression Sessions, or my podcast called Read the Room on Podbean. Check me out on Instagram, the Tim D. Miller.
Yes.
Nice. Hell
Oh,
yeah. Very
breaking
funny
news.
comic, guys. Follow
Yeah.
him.
Thank you,
Great
guys.
pod. Yeah. Thanks
you
for having
were
me on the
like,
show last night. That was so fun.
Absolutely, man.
First started coming to DC, you were like one of the guys who I was like scared to talk to. And there's no reason for it.
I was going to say.
Tim was intimidating to me as well because I did that first
Was I?
run. No, I mean
No, it's just because like
through any-
you were one. You're one of the dudes in the
you're
scene.
one of the dudes.
but-
yeah.
But, I mean, I always want to know.
Karen
I
just
think
got home and she's probably just like, God, these guys are so gay.
still, yeah.
You're one of the dudes.
I
was so nervous.
I was like, you're cool. You probably don't think I'm cool. You know.
Yeah.
What did I-
That's
okay,
what it is.
Was I mean at any point, or was I,
No.
Never,
okay,
no.
okay.
But you
I
are
just
very
don't remember.
opinionated.
People tell me people tell me that, and I'm like, I haven't. First, I don't think I've done anything in comedy really. I feel like
Yeah.
I've just been doing comedy in DC for so long. People go, Tim
But
Miller,
you do it well.
Well, I
You
mean,
know, you do it
thank
well.
you, but
Yes.
it's just I haven't quit. I don't think I've.
Yeah.
I just haven't
It is
stopped.
It's if you hang around long enough, you're one of the guys.
Yeah.
You are like a DC elder statesman. But I think when I started, like I first started getting stuff, Ramin had me do a run of shows with Ben Kronberg. Remember that weekend? And you were featuring for him,
Oh,
and I was
yeah.
emceeing.
Yeah,
and I was
yeah.
just so nervous because I was like, I want to do well. And like same thing we're talking about. Like as a host, you're like, I got to crush, and everybody else
Yeah.
is like, just don't forget people's
Just-
names when
yeah.
you bring them up.
Get
and
our
do
names.
fun.
Get our names right. Say our name last. That's
Yes.
really it.
Oh,
and you were.
yeah.
I mean, and I remember those weekends, man. That was a fun run.
That was so fun. Ben was
What?
cool. It was such an interesting, like, the crowds, too. I think we did Lorton, but Rockville, and maybe, like, one other one. But it was
And
cool.
You know what? I'm so stupid. I was just like, what happened to those shows? I'm like, oh, yeah, COVID. But
Yeah.
because we
Yeah.
did we did Arlington
sorry.
too, right?
Yeah,
when,
I think that's what it was, yeah.
Man.
Yes, we did the Green Room. That might have been the first one, I
Yeah.
think. That Thursday through, and it was so cool. But yeah, it was like you were never a dick, but it was just like, man, Tim's so funny and so cool.
Yeah.
That was pretty much it. I bet he hates me. He's so cool.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah,
hate
that's what it
anybody.
is.
I'm just
Yeah,
'Cause
of course.
Yeah. It's just like it's just such a weird comedy is so weird in the sense that like you're always never sure of like your standing or like who actually respects you. Everyone's
Yeah.
so like fragile, and that's
Yeah.
just because there's so much shit talking, and it's such a like. It's not competitive, but it is competitive. It's unspoken.
strangely, you know what it is? It's the you ever do like a secret race with somebody, like they don't know it, but if you win in your head, you're like, I fucking beat them.
Oh
Yeah.
yes,
It's
of
kinda-
course.
It's kind of competitive in that way where they come and ask. I noticed it when I think when I first started working at the Improv. And I mean, 14 years ago, when you first start emceeing at the Improv. I mean, back then it was I'm like everything else. It was bigger back then. People would kind of go like, "Oh, you
Hey, you were the
emceed
best.
this weekend? You emceed this
Yeah.
weekend?" Like other comics or whatever. Like after when I saw them later like after my weekend there, they'd be like, "So how'd you do?" Like that kind of
Yeah.
thing, and I'm like, "Oh, you're doing okay, yeah." No,
Yeah,
I
dude.
did fine. I did good. Like, did
Huh.
they?
But-
You're like, how many laughs did you get? Like, how many? Like, and it's like, oh wow, this is deep for
Yeah.
What were your jokes per minute though?
Yeah.
I mean, you had the weekend,
Like,
but you get
we-
laughs
Yeah.
every 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're all such pieces of shit where like we will try to play off how like compliments don't affect us, But like
Yeah.
when someone comes up to you after a show and they say you were the funniest, that's what you want.
you. Yeah,
That's what I want to hear from. The only reason I will go out and talk to people after shows because that's what I want to hear.
yeah.
Yeah.
If you need to.
I hate
Unless you do-
people who don't admit it. I hate it.
Here's the flip of that is if you don't do that well and you kind of know it, you don't want to go out there.
I'm in the green.
Exactly.
Find me in the green room.
going out there.
But if I do well, it's wow. How did I accidentally
Yeah.
end up by the door everybody is walking out of?
Exactly.
What am I doing here?
What the?
Wow.
Oh, you saw me up on stage? Oh yes.
Oh, thank you so much. Honestly, thank
I
you.
did
Yeah,
it
I'm
the
on
other day.
Instagram.
I was in Pennsylvania the other day for a show. It was supposed to snow. When I was leaving, it just started snowing in Baltimore, so I knew my drive home was. I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna get off stage, and drive to my car. I fucking did so well. I was like, you know what? I'm hanging out for the
Hilarious.
whole show.
Hilarious.
I'm gonna hang for a minute, but yeah, if it didn't go
And
great,
then I
like,
had
that's
to drive
snow.
through
I got
hell
snow
to get home.
There's
Yeah.
so to bring it back to that like secret competition or whatever with comics.
Yeah.
And this is when I knew it was really deep. I don't know if you guys remember Comedian, Jerry Seinfeld's
Yes.
movie.
Yeah. I just
There's a-
rewatched it like 3 weeks ago.
Okay, there's a moment in that movie when he's talking about coming back to
Yeah.
Ray Romano. Ray Romano looks at him and goes, and it's so funny. They kept the camera on him after he asked this. He goes, "So how much material is gonna be new?" And they kept the camera on him, and he kind of goes like smiling, like he does a smile like, are you doing all new, or is it gonna be like there's gotta be some old stuff in
Yeah.
there? Like
Right.
that's when I knew. When I saw that, I was like, this shit never dies.
Never
It
ends.
never
Yeah.
goes away.
And they're both multimillionaires,
They're
but they still have like,
fucking billionaire-ish. Like,
and they have
Yeah.
and they have the competition of just like, so you're just writing new material.
so
it's all new.
all
okay.
new.
Okay.
You've been doing this one thing for 20 years, and you wrote all new material in 3 months. I don't believe it.
And Ray Romano's he's also
Believe
asking
it.
that to make himself feel better
Of
he's
course.
he's not writing, so he's like, you're not writing, right?
Yeah.
So I'm still good. Okay, cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Never goes away, man. So
Damn.
Yep, comedy's a hellscape. Now that's a good note to go out on.
Let's do it.
It's never enough.
it's a title. That's the title of this.
I want to say one last thing. I will say this. Like,
Yeah.
I was just listening to a lot of comedians during COVID, like, will say things like, and let me preface this by, I sort of get it, and I think it's bad that they feel this way, that they're like, God, we're comedians. Like, we like fall apart if we can't go up on stage and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, you know what? You're not a fully evolved person if that's true. And like, goddamn, go live your life. Like, I hope that's one thing, like, a lot of like local and like comics just take away. Like, you're allowed to take, like, you don't have to do this. Like, once you get into a certain place, dude, go live your life. Don't just make this like your only fucking thing. You gotta have hobbies, relationships outside of comedy, and
family.
you gotta go experience other shit. Like, you can't just hang out in basement bars.
Yeah.
With other weirdos.
Yeah.
Dark rooms.
Essentially hanging out with the same people that have the same mental illness you do. And you're like, we're all fine. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. We're all fine.
It's like, goddamn, dude. Yeah, step out of your world.
Absolutely.
All right, let's go out on that.
All right, let's.
Yeah.
It's never enough. Tim, thanks for doing the show, man. I feel like we could have gone on for we got an hour and a half here.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Maybe we'll cut the first like 30. I just felt
how
like
long-
it was such insider talk that like if you started from like Tim talking about like him growing up and stuff, that might be more interesting.
I think it'll be fine.
I was going to
All
put the whole
right.
thing up. I mean,
I'm
but
All right, put the whole thing up.
I like
Yeah.
it all. I like
All
it
right,
all.
cool.
And also, Umar, you're asking me to edit, and I'm not gonna.
Oh, you're right, you're right.
I'll be honest with you.
if you got, I mean, let me know. I mean, are we closed here? Are you still?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll stop. Thanks for listening, everybody. Peace. Yeah.
All right, that was Josh Kuderna and Umar Khan of the Digression Sessions podcast. We did a little crossover event. We talked about a lot of different shite. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. I mean, we talked for a while. We got about an hour and a half or so. So thank you all for listening.